Good morning, everyone. How's everybody doing this morning? Good, good. This is kind of a funny setup. We just have a mosh pit here in the middle. We can all just kind of gather in the center and do that. We're not going to do that. We're not going to make you do that. Welcome to the Center of Unity. We're excited that you're here with us this morning. If it's your first time, we want to say welcome. We hope you enjoy what we do here this morning. We're going to go ahead and get started with this first song. Go ahead and stand up. I know it's kind of weird where you are, but let's go ahead and stand up for this first one. Let's get it started. Hup. Okay, word's going to be on the screen. Here we go. Great is your faithfulness, oh God. You wrestle with a restless heart. You lead us by still waters into mercy. And nothing can keep us apart. Justice, God. You use the weak to lead the strong. You lead us in the song of your salvation. And all your people sing along. So remember your people. Y'all can be seated.
Well, good morning to this different configuration we get to experience a couple times a year. And this is our opportunity to hopefully engage a little bit more with each other today. You're going to have that opportunity a little bit later on. We are celebrating one more of those annual events checked off of our list. Birthday banquet we had a full house last night of close to 50 people, and I don't know what the numbers are going to shake up to be, but just from the live and the silent auction, and thanks to our amazing auctioneer right here. He pulled it out of you. He pulled it out of all the people. He got a few more bucks for the church, and we're over $2,500 just from those two parts of the event. So I know that there is more unfolding, more coming, and I'm grateful we only do this once a year. Yeah, it feels like we just left, and we're back here again. And the other good news is I got close to 14,000 steps in yesterday, so woohoo! You know, it's our opportunity here in all the things that we do to draw upon, I like that analogy of those deep roots that go down where we take our unity principles, we take our metaphysical understandings, we take our access with spirit as we know it today, and draw that up and see how it is seeking to transform not only us, but our world. We're in a different world than when Jesus walked the earth, and we're in a different world than when many of the other mystics were here. But the truth remains the same. How it outpictures is different because we are all different and our times are different. And that is the purpose that we have here, to be in that place where we can transform our life and then take that and go out and make a positive difference in the world. So we're going to speak that together today. I remembered today, Nick, so let's get that slide. There we go. So today we are here as a community, as individuals, to transform our life and make a positive difference. Let's speak that together. Transforming lives and inspiring people to make a positive difference in the world. And I know I did that in reverse because I also want to say welcome to those who might be joining us for the first time. Whether you're here in this space with us or whether you're watching us online, you can go to our website and go to the Connect card and share that information with us. Or we've got connection cards. Well, we don't have many in here right now. In the back of the pews that are in these rooms here, no, there's some here up by the box. And if you'll just share that with us and let that be your gift to us today. We're going to sing again. Get this energy moving this morning.
Sing that with us this morning. You give life, you are love, you bring light to the darkness, you give hope, you restore every heart that is broken, and great are you, Lord. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise, pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise to you only. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise, pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise to you only. All the earth will shout your praise, our hearts will cry, these bones will sing. Great are you, Lord, and all the earth will shout your praise, our hearts will cry, these bones will sing. Great are you, Lord, and all the earth will shout your praise, our hearts will cry, these bones will sing.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Matt. This is Elaine. We're both on your care team. If there's anyone that has any prayer needs, we'll be available for 15 minutes after the service. Today's daily word is loving. The boundless love of God expresses through me. I am loving.
To be loving means to be kind, understanding, and generous. It means forgiving grievances easily and seeking to understand myself and others. In striving to be loving toward others, I begin with myself. Exercising self-compassion when I make a mistake makes forgiving others easier. Taking time for self-care makes it more natural for me to be a nurturing presence for others. Treating myself well helps make my generosity spontaneous and frequent. Love is the very nature of God. I am a spiritual being, which means love is my nature too. Through my loving nature, I am positive, optimistic, hopeful, and faith-filled. I am the heart and hands of God on earth. I am loving.
Our verse for today comes from 1 Corinthians chapter 13. Love is patient, love is kind, it bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things.
And as we take a moment to have our healing prayer today, we just breathe into that awareness of God in the midst of each and every person, each and every situation, and that wisdom and that divine flow of love is calling forth the right and perfect healing and solutions. In a special way, we continue to surround Noelle and her family as they are grieving the loss of her children's dad. We send our healing energy out to Wes and to Sharon as they move through this challenge with ease and with grace. And for all those prayers that we hold in our minds and our hearts for individuals and for the world, we just take this moment to surround and enfold them in that unfailing, ever-flowing divine love of God, knowing that love heals, it transforms, it uplifts, it makes all things possible. And for that, we say thank you. Thank you, God. Amen. Oh. Yeah, those nice little musical interludes are there to really help you. Never really said, but the flow of the services, that's just to help you really seat those prayers in and prepare yourself to receive as we continue our exploration of abundance We've been using the book, The Abundance Project by Derek Rydall, as our guide, and there's so much in this book. So I just want you to know I'm giving you little smatterings, and if this is something that you'd like to work on in your life, this is a great book that will give you a lot of practical understandings and exercises and practices that activate that flow. We started with the truth that the source of abundance is spiritual. It's experienced as energy, not so much as stuff, but as energy, and it's governed by spiritual laws. And the primary one, when we're talking about abundance, is our thoughts, our beliefs, our feelings, and our attitudes about what abundance is, helps to shape our experience of it. Last week, we looked at 5 blind spots that can impede that flow of abundance in our lives. One of them being that we're separate from God and we're separate from our good. Sometimes we feel that way, that, I have to make it happen. It's just me. I have to go out and get it or achieve it. And we also looked at this idea, and it's very common, at least in the place that we live in, that wealth, our abundance, is measured in material things. It's measured in dollars. And our good only comes to us when we believe we're worthy of it. And that we have to limit and to adjust and oftentimes contract when circumstances change and they seem to be limiting us. And the final blind spot that oftentimes people have, especially when you're very spiritual, is that money is not spiritual. To seek abundance is not a spiritual thing. We should let go of it all and live this very simple and astute life. But it's all God, and it's all spiritual. And all of these different ways of thinking and believing and interchanging and interacting with this broad concept of abundance, when we are not in sync with our beliefs, they can impede the flow. It's almost like each one of those is stepping on that garden hose or creating a kink in the garden hose. It's always flowing, the water is flowing, but just because of the way that hose is configured, it has a hard time making it all the way through and expressing itself. Every prosperity class that I've ever taken, and there's a lot, I've done dozens, have included certain proven abundance activators. That's what he calls them anyway, practices, if you will, that can remove those kinks, that can increase the flow and kind of take out the rusty spots, that can expand the flow of good in every aspect of our life. He offers you 7 strategies, and that when they're done regularly, they allow that life force to move in and through our lives with greater ease. 7 is a lot. I only have a few minutes in which I share a message with you, so we're going to go through them very fast. If one of these speaks to you, you might want to go do a little bit more research about how you might want to include that as a practice in your life. So the first 2 that he talks about is giving out and giving away. The first asks us to regularly practice intentionally giving of ourselves to make a positive difference in the world in whatever way that we can, whether that's giving greater love, support, service. It includes giving of our treasure, all aspects of us, our gifts. How can I give more? The word flow that we've been talking about implies movement. So unless we are active in it, and if we only are receiving, our inner waters can become stagnant. I like what he says about this. He says, energy not expressed is depressed. So we have to always be in that flow. We are in that flow of receiving, but we also have to be in that flow of giving it back out again. Giving away is all about letting go of things, and this is a very practical one, that you don't need or use, which can oftentimes represent stagnant sort of trapped, stuck energy in you. The author states that the stuck energy in the form of unnecessary stuff is representative of old emotional patterns and self-concepts or belief about life that have become coagulated in the form of material things. So think about that. How much stuff do you have accumulated where you live in your office that you haven't looked at or touched or put into service in years? So this is the time where everybody kind of, all right, I got to go do my garage sale or, Goodwill and Salvation Army, get an abundance of stuff flowing out. So he talks about looking at that and then being in that practice, activating it by letting go and opening that space up for whatever is seeking to emerge. I will tell you, I looked one time and I counted them all up, and I've moved 27 times in my life. And the blessing of moving, and many of those have been cross-country moves, is you look at your stuff and you go, is that really worth moving a few thousand miles? So every couple of years, we clear everything out, and I get one bin. It's about this, for all of the memorabilia stuff that is important to me, that my husband and I each have one bin, and that's what we keep of stuff that is precious to our own memories. The rest gets released. The next two that he talks about are giving up and giving in. So giving up focuses on, I may have jumped ahead of myself. Yeah, so the giving away is letting go of that stuck energy within us. Giving up is focused on the clutter of our inner household, our old habits, those resentments, those criticisms, those judgments, those complaints that are all stuffed in our internal closets and drawers and attics. And as we release this inner clutter, we make space for that potential of our next becoming to emerge. All of these mental and emotional habits have formed as a kind of armor to protect us when we're out there in the world. And while it may feel safer, it blocks the flow of life from both getting in and being expressed out. So as you notice yourself, perhaps expressing resentment or criticisms or judgment, he suggests that we pause, we take a breath, and that we consciously let them go. Giving in is about surrendering to what is, and also, more importantly, to what's trying to emerge. The practice of surrender is not about giving in to the circumstances, it's not about giving our power away, but it's about letting go of whatever we're doing to ignore or to protect or to defend what's happening in our life, and to make welcome whatever the new change is coming, whatever this force is that's seeking to emerge through each of us. Another one quote that he says in here that I think is good to remember, he says, if you don't allow that giving in and letting go, it's like trying to change the world while you stay the same. We talk about wanting to make a positive difference, but if we aren't willing to do that in our own lives, it's very difficult to make that happen out in the outer world. The next two activators are giving thanks and giving to yourself. This gratitude that we often talk about and express is the foundation of abundance. I want you to hear that. Gratitude, in fact, Mary Mann Morrissey used to say that gratitude is the closest frequency to abundance. If we're seeking to welcome in more abundance, gratitude is where we can tune in that makes it the most welcome. It is what allows us to open ourselves to that flow of good, it makes also us a channel for it. Because whatever flows in also, as we did in the first activator, has to flow out. And it's more than just being grateful for what we have. We start there, and there's a lot of things that we can be grateful for in our lives if we really start looking at it. My sister, who was here a couple weeks ago, and she's in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and it's already in the 30s there, and the heat went out when she got back. And it took about 5 days for them to get they had to replace a part. I said, boy, you're really grateful now. It's something that we take advantage of, or we just take for granted every day. But when it's gone, having heat in your house makes a huge difference. So it's about being grateful for the things that we already have, but it's also about practicing what is often called proactive gratitude, giving thanks in advance. It helps our belief system. If we're already giving thanks for it, then there's some part of us that believes it's coming. It is about being grateful in the face of challenge and scarcity. It's not easy. The author suggests that this practice looks like this as it moves through us, as we delve deeper into it, and as we activate it in our lives. Oftentimes we begin thinking that we have no reason to be grateful, and we have to find those small things. So we find something to be grateful for, and then the more we practice that, we begin to grow grateful for everything, and then we finally go back to being grateful for no reason again. It's an interesting circular sort of experience. Giving to yourself is often overlooked, especially if there's shadows around being needy or greedy or selfish. How many people, to say, no, I'm important and I have to give to myself, when so many other people need you or want your time or are depending upon you. And yet, we all probably have heard this, and at some level we know it, we just don't always get it. As the airplane analogy goes, you have to put your own oxygen mask on first before you can really help other people. We were just talking about this in our spiritual gifts class. We have to be able to fill ourselves up if we're also going to then be able to give out and to give away and to support other people. The practice asks us to explore where we might be looking to someone else to meet our needs, and then look for ways that we can meet those for ourselves without being dependent upon anyone else, and to encourage others to be able to do the same. If we're looking to our partner for love or respect or validation from our boss or family or friends, when we realize that that's a need that we have, part of our work is to see, how can I give that to myself? How can I fill that need? The rest becomes a bonus then. The rest just becomes increased flow in our lives. One of the questions you could ask yourself is, if I loved myself completely, how would I treat myself today? Whether it's on the job or in my relationships or in meeting whatever the challenges that are showing up. And it doesn't mean that we can't ask others for what we need. We can. But we also have to understand that at best, they're a channel. They're not our source for that. And we have the ability to be able to source it for ourselves. So we're going to take a few moments and we're going to move into a time of just inner questioning and reflection about these different activators. And then once we're done seeing what Spirit has to say to us, we're going to give you an opportunity to share at your table one activator that's showing up for you that you are willing to commit to practicing. One thing that you can do right now, whether it's giving up, giving in, giving to yourself, practicing gratitude, I'll remind you of them again as we come back. But just whatever you've heard today, as we move into this time of just inner listening, see what's rising up that can help you activate a greater flow of abundance in your life right now. So just right where you are, if you just take a moment and just bring your attention inward, noticing your body, noticing the breath as it comes in and out of your body. You might even want to close your eyes if that's comfortable so that you can really be present with who you are, with how you feel, with the space around you. From an awareness that's beyond the five senses. And as you continue just to let that breath flow naturally, imagine that that thinking part of you in your head is slowly sinking down until it comes to rest gently in your heart space. And imagine that intuitive brain, the gut brain as some call it, the spiritual womb that's located in the lower part of your body being drawn up into the heart space. So that mind and heart and spirit are all connected. That they're all interacting with each other in this moment. And then just ask the wisdom that is your divine nature to either show in a visual or speak the words or give a certain energetic feeling about which activator is wanting to be expanded and expressed in a bigger way. Whether it's giving out or giving away, giving up or giving in. Giving thanks or giving to yourself. Just take a moment and allow it to emerge from the highest wisdom of who you are as a spiritual being. We'll just take a few moments in the silence to see what spirit is guiding us as our next step. See if there's any guidance about what those next steps might be. What you could begin to practice that would open the flow in that area. And know if in this moment there isn't clarity, as you continue to be open to it, you will be guided. The right people, activities, support, ideas will show up in perfect timing. Now begin to bring your attention back to this time and to this space, aware once again of the body and the chair supporting it, of the breath. And whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. So now it's your turn. And you guys in the back there, if you want to join another table, I think we've got enough. We want at least a few at each table. And I'm just going to invite you to share with each other. And it might just be, you know, I really got the guidance that I need to do some giving away, or that I'm really going to focus on giving to myself. Whatever it might have been. We're not going to do a recap, but I just want you to share with each other. And if you don't know each other, please just share your name with the other people too. It's a good chance to get to know each other. So we're going to take about 4 minutes to do this. I'll tell you when we're getting, so it can't be long stories. It can only just be, you know, just a few sentences about what's showing up for you right now. And those of you who are watching at home, be thinking about that and perhaps jotting down. Unfortunately, my app is not working where I can connect with you right now, but just see what's showing up for you and maybe write a few notes down about how you're going to get started on that. Chance to share. If you haven't, please do so. All right, as we're wrapping it up, take a moment to just thank your table mates for being willing to share. And hopefully, as you shared, it opened up and perhaps motivated you to even look at some other different parts of activating your abundance. We got one final abundance activator left, at least the way he presents it in the book, and that one is forgiveness. I know you thought we were going to get by without that one. Jesus knew that we cannot fully experience the abundance of life, the majesty and love of God until we have the capacity to love our enemies, to pray for those who hurt us, and to return love for hate. That's the hard gospel, as Richard Rohr calls it. We explored that a few times. It's the one that a lot of Christians go, yeah, I know Jesus said that, but, that was Jesus. That wasn't me. Jesus could do that. I can't necessarily do that. Forgiving is really about giving and not getting. Forgiving. It is another activator of giving in our lives. And it is really about extending ourselves and not withholding ourselves. When you don't forgive another, you're saying, you owe me. Think about that. You did something and now you owe me. Whatever that owe me is. And when you don't forgive yourself for your own mistakes and for your own times when you may have hurt or betrayed someone else, you are saying, I owe myself. It's about debt. In fact, Edwene Gaines, who is a well-known Unity Prosperity teacher, said that if you have a lot of material debt in your life, you probably have a lot of unforgiveness living in your body, living in your mind, living in your heart. There are lots of books and courses. We're going to offer one in the new year. I think Sue Zimmerman is going to do one on self-forgiveness in the new year. If this is an area that you want to go deeper, you may know all about it. You just have to go practice it. And after working with this activator, at least for me, for decades, I've found, there's lots of different practices and processes that you can do, just being willing. When I finally got to the place where I said, I don't want this anymore. I don't want to feel this way anymore. I don't want this to affect my being the way it does anymore. I don't want to carry around this resentment or this hate or whatever it was that I'm carrying around. When I said, I'm done, I'm willing, here, take it. That was the most important component in all of that. And sometimes it takes us a while to get there. Sometimes we say that and then we take it back. We go, oh no, wait. I think I'm going to hang on to that for just a little bit longer. It's this desire to let it go and to allow that God source within you to just sweep it away that becomes the greatest activator we can do. It's not about, it has nothing to do with the other person. You never even have to interact with that person. It is about letting go of what you're holding on to within yourself. The result, in my experience, is a deep peace that settles over the mind and the body and the spirit. And unlike some of those old gospels, Jeff's going old school with us today for our special music. There can be peace in the valley today when we allow those living waters of Christ to flow and cleanse us.
Yeah, we're going to have a little fun with this one this morning. So you know how when you hear a song and you have a song in your head, and even though lots of people sing that song, the way that you hear it in the head, well, for me, it's like, Here Comes Santa Claus. The only person in my head that sings Here Comes Santa Claus is Gene Autry. He's the only one that sings it in my head. And so this one's kind of the same way. We're going to sing it the way that I hear it in my head, regardless of who. This is the way I hear it in my head. So we're going to do a little nod to Elvis Aaron Presley this morning with Peace in the Valley. Let's get this and try. Oh, I'm tired is as black as the sea. Peace in the valley for me someday. There will be peace in the valley for me. Oh Lord, I pray. No sadness, no sorrow, no trouble I see. There will be peace in the valley for me. Where the bear will be gentle and the wolves will be tame, and the lion shall lay down by the lamb, and the beast from the wild shall be led by the child, and I'll be changed from this creature that I am. Oh yes, there'll be peace in the valley for me someday. There will be peace in the valley for me. Oh, I pray. There'll be no sadness, no sorrow, no trouble I see. There will be peace in the valley for me, for me.
Good job, Jeff.
Yeah, we've been on this going through music of the decade, so I guess maybe that's what inspired him yesterday. Well, it is our opportunity now to share of our financial good with this ministry, to practice a little bit of that being in the flow of giving and receiving. In just a moment here, I think we got some ushers. We're just gonna, by table now, this configuration, but we're still gonna come up. If you're sharing a gift today, you can place it in the large basket or just put your hand over the basket, add your energy to it, be and see that flow of abundance moving in and through this community. And then, of course, you can take an affirmation to bless you, to give you another thought for abundance as you go through this week. We are so grateful for the many ways in which we receive our good. Certainly, financially is one way, but the way that people support us with their gifts, with their time, with their talents is crucial to this particular ministry. And it's true today. And so we're going to give thanks in advance for all the people that are going to help us put this sanctuary back together again once we're done with service. Yes. It only takes, it goes really quickly if everyone will just do a little part of it. So we're grateful for all of that and grateful for the ways in which we are blessed and we can continue to be a blessing, not only to the people in this community, but let that ripple out into the community that we live in and the greater world. So let us take what we offer today into our hands and the energy of that into our hearts as we join together and bless it. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, Father, Mother God.
Thanks for it, Melinda. Before we start, I just want to give a shout out to Bob. We've been doing this sort of thing for multiple years, and he just asked me to do it one more time. So if you feel the spirit move you, just get up and, move your feet. One, two, Nice again, everybody.
How are you? Thank you. That way I know I'm actually talking to somebody. So my name is Grant Trevithick, and I've been asked to share kind of a prosperity example with you guys. I'm basically, I think I'm a very simple person. I can't convince anybody else of that. But I live my life very simply. And when I study the Bible and when I study New Thought, I look at it and either I believe it or I don't. So I don't believe it on Tuesday, but on Wednesday, if there's a full moon, maybe not. And if I don't have enough in my bank, then maybe you don't. Either you believe it or you don't. So I'm kind of a fundamentalist that way. And I will tell you the prosperity principle works. I have a real estate company. I started it with literally a shoestring, very little money. We've been successful for 15 years. And I've seen a ton of people come and go in that period of time. They make a big splash for about 6 months, and they're gone. And everybody asked me very simply, why does my company work? Have I been successful for 15 years? It's not about me and that I'm particularly brilliant or anything like that. I tell everybody is I put God first, and we always tithe. We give the first 10% of all of our profits to where we receive our spiritual food, and our life is filled with abundance. A particular example, which did not happen to me, but I experienced it. I was doing a prosperity workshop on Long Island, probably about 25 years ago. And Reverend Leonard's church is a small little church on Long Island. We did the seminar. This gentleman came up to me and he said, look, I'm a starving artist. But what I want to do is I want to really hone my art, and I want to be somebody that makes a difference in the art world. And I said, great. He goes, how can I do that? And I said, well, tithe your time, your talents, and your treasures. And so we had a huge wall on the side of the church, and I would like to paint a mural for the congregation. I said, great, tithe your talents. And so he started, and he painted a mural of the New Thought interpretation of the Old Testament. Started off with Genesis and the introduction of fear and the knowledge of God and not knowledge, went to Exodus and talked about how we escaped the slavery of our fears, escaped the slavery of all of our old habits, and went on to Revelations. And when he got to the end, he looked at it, and his talents had greatly improved. It took him about 6 months. And he said the stuff at the beginning looked like not wonderful. So he went back and repainted the first half. It took him a year. Now this man he lived in a little one-room flat. He worked as a waiter, painting, trying to make a living. And every spare moment he came and worked on this. I was invited back after a year, and it was just amazing. You looked at it, you could totally see the whole picture of the evolution of consciousness as a thought into unity. And when he unveiled it, of course, the whole congregation was incredibly grateful. He did a phenomenal job. And in the congregation was an art dealer from Manhattan who never came to Long Island. For some reason, he went out there and visited a friend the night before and stayed over. And for some reason, coincidence, right? He saw this little church. It was a quaint little church, and said, I want to stop by and see what they're up to. He talked to the artist, and in 6 months, he had an exhibit in Manhattan that sold out before it opened. That's the prosperity principle. The way I look at it is either you trust God or you don't. And in the New Testament, Jesus says, why in the world do you worry where you're going to put your head? Certainly God takes care of the sparrows, and you're far more important than the sparrows. So my example, and I live by it every single day, put your faith in God. Where that prosperity comes from is none of your business, but it has never failed me in 64 years. So Reverend Linda is absolutely right.
Follow the teachings. They're absolutely amazing, and they can turn your life around. So y'all have a blessed day.
That's an, oh, sorry.
Here's what's coming up at Center of Unity. We're having a church directory created just for us, and we want you in it. Each person will receive a complimentary 8x10 portrait and a church directory just for participating. You will have an opportunity to purchase more portraits, but there's no obligation to purchase additional photos. Visit ucdir.com and follow the directions to schedule your time slot for Tuesday, October 29th. Feel free to bring family members, pets, props, or whatever you envision for your portrait and schedule your appointment today. If you have any difficulties or questions, email Mary at unitychurchgrapevine.org or call the church office at 817-488-1008. There are 2 positions available on our board of directors. If you're an active member and desire to serve on the board, please fill out the application on our website or see Mary Salerno. The nominating committee will receive applications for new board members until Sunday, October 20th. Join the virtual book club online on October 26th at 12:30 p.m., where we will discuss Abidari's The Girl with the Louding Voice. The Zoom ID is on the screen, or you can access it from our website or the COU app. Join Mary Salerno and Gigi Johnson for an informative afternoon on how to be vegan. Whether you're just curious, interested in adding more plant-based meals to your menu, or are considering going fully plant-based, stop by on Saturday, November 2nd at noon, where you'll not only learn more, but also get to sample some delicious plant-based meals. Please sign up online so we'll know how many to prepare for. There are multiple ways you can make a donation to Center of Unity. You can drop your donation off at the church, mail it to our P.O. Box, visit our website, or use the COU or Venmo app. Your continued support is greatly appreciated.
All right, well, thank you for joining us this week. We look forward to seeing you back next week. And let's sing our kids in. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Hey, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Hey, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, well, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
All right, good morning, everybody. All right, we had a full and active morning today. Let's see, they learned about Jesus calming the storm, Noah's Ark in the storm, and I can't remember, and I've forgotten what the older kids did, but hold on, here you go. They'll tell us.
Today we drawed what made us angry.
So today we were learning about peace, and so we made what makes us feel happy and what calms us down. I don't want to. Today we learned about we danced it and we listened to music.
We learned about if we serve one person, we serve everyone for the greater good.
Today we read an excerpt from the Bible that was a king telling a story about how everybody helped him, and when the people in the crowd responded saying that we didn't do any of those things, he said, whatever you do, no matter how small, an act of kindness, it affects everyone.
All right, so there you go. And please, parents, grandparents, please make sure and check that one wall outside Fellowship Hall. There's a lot of artwork and stuff up there. And if it doesn't go home today, then I'm going to dispose of it. Yes.
All right, so let's go ahead and stand up. Let's join hands, and we'll do our peace song together. Big circle. Let's make a big circle around the room if we can. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as a Father, family all are we. Let me walk with my family in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
And so as we go into this day, into this week, in that divine flow of abundance, we go knowing our prayer for protection. We're going to do it as a call and response. The light of God surrounds us.
I am the light of God.
The love of God enfolds us.
I am the love of God.
The power of God protects us.
I am the power of God.
The presence of God watches over us.
I am the presence of God.
Together, wherever we are,
Where
God is, and all is well. Please hang around. If you'll take your stuff off your tables, that would be really helpful.